New England Patriots fans, I am literally so fired up for you right now. Welcome in. We've got a Patriots 7-round mock draft. All you draft nerds, all you Patriots fans out there, you are in the right place. At Rogue Football, it's all draft all the time. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy the content. So, again, Patriots, they're in a great situation. They have their head coach, Mike Vrabel, who knows the Patriot way, who has proven to be a very good head coach in this league from a leadership standpoint. And I think even further, from an X's and O's standpoint, that he doesn't get the credit for quite as much as he should on the defensive side of the ball. You have your head coach, you have your quarterback. Those are the two most important things you can have in football, right? You also had an unbelievably productive day one of legal tampering. Milton Williams to the New England Patriots, that is a big-time interior presence to pair with Christian Barmore, who has obviously had some health issues, but if you can get those two guys out there on the field with Harold Landry, with Keon White, with some of the depth you have across the defensive front, that's very exciting. And, I've seen some negativity about the Harold Landry signing. I don't understand the negativity regarding Harold Landry at all. This is a guy who Mike Vrabel knows very well what he is getting from Harold Landry because he coached Harold Landry for a long time. And I think that he has the type of skill set, quite honestly, to thrive with the Patriots and to be a big-time pass rusher. Somebody who can play all three downs, can be a starter, versatile guy, and again, get the job done for you at a high level. And you kind of pair him with Keon White. Landry, not a small edge, but he's certainly not one of the bigger edge guys. I think that him and Keon White complement each other well. You've got Milton Williams and Christian Barmore. Then you also get Robert Spillane, who can run and hit. You get Carlton Davis, who I think is a great complement to your guy, Christian Gonzalez, who somehow the Patriots were able to steal in the draft a few years back. Morgan Moses comes in to start at right tackle. Josh Dobbs, backup quarterback. Obviously, there's some interest in Patriots' current backup quarterback, Joe Milton, around the league. You get Mac Hollins, who's a dirty work receiver from within the division. So this is a good situation getting set up here. Now, there are still some needs, and the Patriots could continue to address needs before the draft. But as of right now, Tuesday, March 11th, you've got needs at left tackle, left guard, center of the future, right? David Andrews absolutely can start for you, but center of the future, wide receiver is still a need. Tight end of the future, I think, could be a need when you look at Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper being the two lead tight ends there. They're both up there in age. I do think Jaheim Bell can have a future role with the team, but I don't know that he's going to be your full-time starting tight end. And then if you have the ability to find a plus running back, like a real difference maker, yes, I think you could do that. You have Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson, which in my mind is not a bad backfield by any stretch, but could you upgrade there? I think so. And this is a really good running back draft. So that's kind of what I'm looking at entering this mock draft. And we're going to do it over on the PFF NFL mock draft simulator. Going to get it fired up for y'all right now. Again, if you enjoy draft content, you are in the right place. Hit that like and subscribe button. So, starting the draft for the Patriots. Off the board, wow, this is not how it normally goes here. You have Cam Ward to the Titans, that's fine. Probably going to happen. Travis Hunter to the Browns. Ashton Jeanty to the Giants, which would be really funny just considering, they let Saquon Barkley walk out the door. Abdul Carter is on the board, and this presents an interesting situation. I don't think it's the most likely scenario, though. I honestly think you're probably going to see Abdul Carter off the board. So we're going to restart this and see if we can get something a little bit more realistic. I'm trying to live within the realm of possibility here. And Abdul Carter still finds his way to the Patriots at 4 overall. Armand Membu, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter off the board. So maybe more realistic. I think Armand Membu in the top 3, what a unbelievable meteoric rise he has seen. I still don't have him as a top 5 prospect in this class. Honestly, where I think I'm at with the Patriots, I don't think Abdul Carter's going to be there. So just pretend he's not, right? I think Will Campbell is the pick. I think whether he's playing tackle or guard, I have him as a first round grade. I have him more towards like a close to the top 5 at guard projected, but I have him as a first round grade solidly as a tackle as well. So you plug him in, he feels like a Patriot, help in the run game, and more importantly, help Drake May in a big way in pass protection. I think that Will Campbell's arrow is pointing firmly up. Big fan of his game overall. Now, we still need wide receiver. We still need guard or tackle, depending on how you view that situation. So we can take a look at the offensive line. I think it's a little early for Tate Ratledge, any of these guys, quite frankly, that are listed as interior offensive linemen on PFF's big board. But there are some offensive tackles potentially that could work. And Donovan Jackson listed as an offensive tackle here. He primarily played inside, but he did have some really good tape at tackle as well towards the end of the season. Ariante Ursary, another player who I think could play guard. Definitely can play tackle for you. Could also play guard with his size, his strength, his explosiveness. I think if you had Ariante Ursary plus Will Campbell, you could be in a really good spot. I think Donovan Jackson plus Will Campbell, you could be in a really good spot. And then you could be feeling like you're pretty much set for 2025 on your offensive line, and you just have to worry about when David Andrews is going to hang it up pretty much. So looking at wide receiver, Jaden Higgins has come off the board, who would definitely be a target for me here. Alec Manor is another really interesting one. I think that there is some development needed, but his natural skill set, ability, his size, his explosiveness, his willingness to block, his ability to go up and get big plays. I think that the arrow is pointing up for Alec Manor. I think it's a little bit rich for Jack Besh at this spot. Xavier Restrepo, going to be a slot only, not the greatest athlete in the world, but obviously you get those Wes Welker comps out there. The Patriots, Pop Douglas is a pretty good slot player. So Jalen Knoll is an interesting one. So is Jalen Royals, but can we wait? I think we might be able to wait and get good receiver talent here. If I had to take a receiver here for the Patriots, it would be Alec, but I think we can wait a little bit. So that frees us up to go offensive line. Again, if Jaden Higgins was there, taking him all day. But that frees us up to just say, hey, we're going to get the best offensive lineman we can that we feel fits our system. I'd have a hard time passing on Donovan Jackson. The versatility he gives you, the athleticism, the mobility, the flexibility he has within his frame. I think you pair up Will Campbell and Donovan Jackson, whichever position, and you're in a really good spot for the Patriots at left tackle and left guard. And now what was a weakness for the last couple of years is now a big time strength. Alfred Collins is an interesting one here because I think he would be that kind of interior run stuffer that the Patriots could use a little bit. I don't think you're looking at Milton Williams and Christian Barmore and saying we want them to be stout at the point of attack. You're wanting to penetrate with them up the field for the most part. I think Alfred Collins could complement that. If you're looking at center of the future, Marcus Mbo's right there. I love that, but we don't need to go offensive line 3 straight picks. So we could certainly look at running back and see if there's anybody on the board that's going to be like dynamic upgrade over what we've got. And I don't think there is, quite frankly. I think Ramondre is being slept on a little bit. I know he had some fumbling issues last year, but that's a damn good running back. And Antonio Gibson has skill as well. At receiver, Jalen Noel has come off the board. What's going on at tight end? Because, again, not a need with Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper, but Mason Taylor, I think that's the type of guy you could really build around for a long time. So I am very intrigued by that. I think Terrence Ferguson's really good as well. Gunnar Helm I loved, but he tested horribly, so that's a tough pill to swallow for him. A lot of options here. The number one need is clearly receiver, right? It is. Is that the best value on the board at this point? I love Tez Johnson, but he's going to be a slot only. He's 150-something pounds. Isaiah Bond is an interesting prospect because I actually liked him coming into the 2024 season more than Xavier Worthy coming out of Texas. Obviously, Bond was at Alabama before the 2024 year. I think he's a more natural route runner. I think his throttle is a little bit more impressive overall. and his ability to go up and attack the football, his body control, but didn't have a great year at Texas. So you see him falling down. I mean, he's ranked 104th on the PFF big board. I think that's too low. I like Jalen Royals a lot. He dealt with a foot injury at Utah State this year, but incredibly productive. He's explosive. He's got a lot of good strength and muscle on his frame. So he's explosive and he has really good hands. I think that's something you can work with. Do we have to go get a receiver here? I think it's pretty much time. I love Kyle Williams as well. That would be a sneaky pick to be like a really good Z move player. We can probably wait on him here. Savion Williams is too much of a project as a pure receiver. Yes, he is a talented offensive weapon, but as a receiver, I just don't really see it for him yet. We're going to go Isaiah Bond and say, hey, Drake May can get him the ball down the field. We just got to get him down there, right? And he can fly. I like Isaiah Bond a lot. That's a 4.3, 40 type of guy. I know he ran like a 4.4 flat, but something like that. But I think he runs a lot faster than that on the field. Isaiah Bond. That's the type of swing, the type of juice they need at receiver, in my opinion. And Mason Taylor is still on the board. I'm going to have a hard time passing on him. He's just too good. You can build around him long term. He can be that safety valve for Drake May, once you move on from Hunter Henry, maybe once you move on from Austin Hooper, these types of guys. I think Mason Taylor fits in there really nicely. And it's not a big need, but it's too good of a value, in my opinion. I think he's going to be a complete tight end, a really good starter for a long time at the NFL level. Now we're at 105. There's a big gulf in between 105 and 145, and then the next pick after that is 219. So I think this is a pick where we really need to hit strong. Again, could you go running back here? Yes. Could you also wait on running back? There's so many quality running backs in this class. I think that's actually going to be the better course of action. I think, you could use another receiver as well. But Jared Wilson being on the board out of Georgia, to me, this is a great value. And again, you've got your center of the future. He only started 1 year at Georgia, but he's a great athlete with very good size at the center position. His tape is extremely strong for only starting 1 year. And you now have a really good offensive line infrastructure, both in the short and long term, with Jared Wilson being added there. So we're going to see if we can find a value receiver target here. And yeah, Kyle Williams, all day. He's a very explosive player with great hands, great route running ability. He gets open, he separates, and I think he could be a 3-level threat. So I think you've really turned over the wide receiver room a good bit with the guys you've added here. And then we're going to take a look at running back, see what we can do there. And again, a lot of guys still on the board that you feel pretty good about. I love Montrell Johnson, Raheem Sanders, both big-bodied runners, both ran really well. We're going to go Montrell Johnson, who at 217, I think he plays in the 220s, but at 217, he ran a 4.41 40-yard dash, looked like an explosive athlete. He's a pretty natural runner, good patience, good vision. I think he presses the hole, and I think that potential long-term running back starter there, and getting that late in the draft is certainly impressive. And now we're just going to try to find value wherever it may be. Rondé Gadsden, I think, probably similar to Jaheim Bell. More length on his frame, certainly. How about Cameron Jackson, who is a freak athlete at his size, over 340 pounds. Ty Robinson, how is he still on the board after the way he tested? Upfield, interior penetrator, Ty Robinson type of game. That's his type of game. I think we got to go with Ty Robinson here. As much as I love Cameron Jackson, I think Ty has the demeanor and ability to be a disruptive force. And then we've got one pick left. Again, just going to try to find value that can make the football team. I love Jabbar Muhammad's game, but he did not test well. And he's small. So that's a tough combination there. Not seeing a whole lot to get fired up about here. I think Theo Weiss could be a sneaky, decent receiver, but we've added 2 receivers already. We got to find somebody to take, though, here. Got to. I don't really think linebackers a need. Is there, I like a swing on Carson Vincent. Morgan Moses is not a long term play, obviously, at right tackle. So, yeah, let's take a swing on Carson Vincent, who I thought acquitted himself well at the Senior Bowl, has the size, the physical ability, even though he's a small school kid, to potentially take meaningful reps in this league. I love this draft for the Patriots, and I love their free agency cycle. I know a lot of folks out there will talk to you about how, um, if you win the offseason, you win free agency. That doesn't usually lead to super successful seasons, and you see all these free agents gone in a few years. Well, free agency is to raise the floor in a lot of situations, but I think the Patriots were also able to raise their ceiling. And then when you're able to go get all the, we did go heavy on the offensive side of the ball, but looking at the Patriots defense, there's not a lot of needs, right? There just aren't. We go get 2 starting caliber players that can both play tackle or guard for you, figure out the best combination with Will Campbell and Donovan Jackson. Probably Will Campbell at tackle and Jackson at guard, but I'm not opposed to just kind of trying to figure it out there. Wide receiver Isaiah Bond is a high upside swing. Mason Taylor going to be a very, very productive player at tight end in this league. Jared Wilson's going to be your starting center of the future. Kyle Williams, I think, is a starting caliber receiver in this league. Both of those guys, I think, can just really separate and have good body control. I think that'll be great for Drake May. Montrell Johnson will also be a benefit for that backfield. Ty Robinson, too good of a value, and Carson Vincent, potential, right? Potential starting tackle or swing tackle of the future. If you're a New England Patriots fan, let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.